Praise Empress Gail.
Jane, this is an email to Jane Agnew from an Associated Press cameraman. I'm going to leave his name out for now. This was dated July 15, 2019. Subject, Matthew McConaughey mentions Gail at red carpet event, Associated Press, and Camila Alves forced censorship. Jane, I am writing you because I'm not sure who I can provide this information to, but I know I can no longer live with the weight of this secret on my shoulders. I doubt you remember me. I'm a cameraman for the Associated Press. We met a couple of times back when you were a renowned journalist. I had heard in recent years that you were blacklisted and labeled as fake news in the journalism community solely because you stood up against the Jesuits. This is something I didn't fully believe until the horrible experience that awaited me on the fateful night of the Dark Tower film premiere. Here's my story. I was working camera for AP at the LA premiere of McConaughey's film The Dark Tower, when the reporter, whose name I'd rather not state here, asked Matthew what he knew about Gabrielle Chana. The answer surprised both of us. A worried expression appeared on Matthew's face as he looked around, seemingly frightened. In retrospect, I understand the terrible error of our ways, as Camila also happened to be in attendance that night. Matthew began with, "This is my confession," and that's when he went on to tell us that Camila Alves had been his Jesuit handler for years, that he's number 3 on Gail's marriage list, before correcting himself that he's technically 4th, since Jesus is always first. Both the interviewer and myself were stunned by what we were hearing. He finished with, "Praise Empress Gail," before immediately spotting Camila, who was holding a small shiny bell in her right hand. At the end of the clip, you can see him look off camera with a mortified expression on his face. That's the point where Camila had walked up and overheard Matthew praising Gabrielle Chana, or Gail Chord Schuler, and had just done so in front of one of the largest news outlets in the country. Matthew, the interviewer, and myself were all quickly hurried to a small room off to the side of the red carpet event by Camila and several large bodyguards who I know now to be Jesuits. God is my witness. We were all forced at gunpoint to re-record the interview, but this time only with audio. But before we were allowed to get started, Camila murdered Sam Shepard right there in front of us, an event I will never forget until my dying day. Camila unbuttoned Matthew's pants and placed his flaccid penis in Shepard's mouth. She then had the 2 large Jesuits hold Sam's nose closed so he could no longer breathe. That's when Camila began ringing her bell violently, and within seconds, McConaughey's knees were trembling, his hips bucking, his penis becoming massively erect, and soon I could see milky white seminal emissions pour from the edges of the wide-eyed Shepard's mouth. Matthew obviously had no control over himself. He begged her not to murder his former co-star, but eventually Sam's choking stopped, along with his breathing. Jane, Camila had Sam Shepard drowned in the semen of his friend Matthew McConaughey. The 70-something-year-old Shepard lay there, semen running from his open lips, and Matthew fell to the ground in tears. That's when Camila handed us a new interview script we were forced to conduct with the devastated McConaughey. We used audio from the second interview, cruelly made to be about the death of Sam Shepard, which the Jesuits had falsified records of days previous. Before we were allowed to leave, Camila gave us an evil grin and said, "Unless we want to suffer the same fate as Sam, we will delete the original audio where Matthew admits that he's on Gail's marriage list. I'm not sure why I did this, because I was truly in fear for my life and continue to be, but I actually saved a small portion of the original interview right before it ended, and Matthew says, prays Empress Gail. Before pointing up to the heavens, I've kept this footage hidden for almost 2 years, and I finally feel I have the courage to come forward and share the truth with the public. I hope you can help me get this out to the world. I know you're friends with Gail and are an enemy of the Jesuits. Please, however you can help spread the word. Sam Shepard didn't deserve to die like that, and Matthew, a wonderful, caring man, definitely did not deserve what Camila forced him to do. These people must pay. Thank you for your time, Jane. If I suddenly disappear, you know why. And then he signed his name.
Today's Saturday with the passing of Sam Shepard. You guys work together on
What?
Mud. Sam Shepard.
Sam Shepard moved on? Gosh, damn it. From what?
I don't know. What do you remember?
Oh, man, if you look, I'm not going to trivialize that situation I just heard about for the first time, but I always said that I thought, and I always told Jeff Nichols this, I said, look, in Mud, the whole trailer for Mud could be Sam Shepard sitting in that green chair telling the boy about who Mud is. It'd be about a 2.5-minute trailer, but it would have been really badass. He moved on today. Well, and we lost one of the great ones. Great writer, grapevine, huh? All right. See you in the next one, Sam.
Thank you, sir.